My dad tried to force me to give my house to my brother because I'm gay and living in sin. He rang my doorbell like a debt collector, demanding I hand over the house I bought with my partner because my brother was starting a real family. Hi, I'm Nolan, 35, and my dad just told me to hand over my 4-bedroom house to my younger brother because he's starting a family while I'm just living in sin. I was elbow deep in drywall patch when my father rang the doorbell like he was collecting a debt. I wiped my hands on my shirt, opened the door, and there he stood. Pressed shirt, clipped tone, that look he gets when he's about to drop a family decision on me. That day, it wasn't about a lawnmower or who's bringing stuffing to Thanksgiving. No, it was my house. "Your brother's getting married," he said. "They're expecting. That big place of yours? It should go to someone starting a real family." I blinked. "You mean my house?" He nodded. "You don't even use all the rooms." I laughed, thought he was joking. Until he added, "You live with a man, Nolan. That's not a marriage in God's eyes. This is a chance to do something right for once." For once. I didn't yell. I just stared. Because this was my dad's thing. Pushed just hard enough to make me question if I was wrong for being stable, successful, and gay. My partner Tyler and I have been together for 6 years. We own this home. Bought it after I landed my promotion to project architect. Tyler teaches music. We host game nights. We grow tomatoes. We are, by every definition I care about, a family. And yet here was Dad, telling me to pack it up and let my barely employed younger brother, who still borrows money to fix his car, move in because he managed to get his girlfriend pregnant. I told him, the answer's no. He didn't take that well. "You always think you're better than us. You think your fancy house and your lifestyle makes you superior. But you're selfish, Nolan. Your brother has needs." I leaned against the doorframe. "You mean like paying rent? Or understanding how mortgages work? Because I signed for this loan. I pay the bills. I shovel the driveway. Your needs don't override legal ownership." He scoffed. "So you're really going to let your brother raise his child in a cramped apartment while you and your roommate enjoy a whole house to yourselves?" Roommate. He said it like it was a punchline. "You've known Tyler for 6 years," I said. "He's family." Dad shook his head like I'd insulted math. "You've lost your way." I let silence fill the air. Then I stepped back, said, "Goodbye, Dad," and closed the door. I thought that was the end of it, that he'd storm off, mutter about me to my aunt over sweet tea, and move on. But 3 days later, my brother showed up with his girlfriend. She was holding a box labeled nursery stuff, and he had a key. That's when everything really started. Tyler found them first. He was pulling into the driveway after school, bag of takeout in the passenger seat, when he noticed an unfamiliar car parked out front. Inside, my brother Chris was lugging a box labeled linens up the stairs, and his girlfriend Maddie was rearranging the throw pillows on our couch like it was a staging project. Tyler called me at work, voice calm but tight. "Hey babe, quick question. Did we rent our house to squatters and forget to tell me?" I left immediately. Forgot my charger, my notes, probably my dignity because I peeled out of the parking lot like I was late for a fire. When I got home, Chris was opening the fridge, holding up a jar of truffle mustard I bought last weekend like it was a science experiment. "Oh, good," he said when he saw me. "You're home. Can you move your stuff out of the guest room? That's going to be the nursery." I dropped my bag. "You brought a crib into my house," I said slowly, like I was translating rage. He shrugged. Dad said it was fine. Said this place should go to someone who's building a family. I mean, you and Tyler don't even have kids. I stared at him. You think having a child gives you eminent domain over my property? It's not just about that, Maddie chimed in, finally looking up from our decorative candles. It's the vibes here. It feels like a home. Our apartment's tiny. This place is just sitting here with spare bedrooms and a piano no one plays. Tyler walked in then. Quiet. Measured. But I could tell from the way he set the bag of takeout down, like it was made of glass and fury, that he was seconds from detonating. I play that piano, he said. Chris chuckled. Come on, bro. Don't make this weird. We're family. I opened the junk drawer and pulled out the spare key hook. It was empty. Who gave you the key? I asked. Dad. Said he helped you change the locks after that break-in last year, remember? He kept a spare just in case. Just in case of what? Tyler snapped. A hostile takeover? Chris held up his hands. Relax. This is temporary. We'll be out once the baby's old enough. Maybe a year, 2 tops. My brain short-circuited. I looked at Maddie, who was now flipping through Tyler's recipe binder. Do you even have a lease? I asked. She blinked. A what? That's when I realized. They didn't think this was rude or wrong. They thought it was entitlement with a bow on it. I'm going to say this once, I said, calm and clear. You are not staying here. This is my home. You were not invited, you don't live here, and you have until tomorrow to get your stuff out. Chris frowned. Dad said you'd come around. He said once you saw the baby stuff, you'd feel guilty. I stared at him. You know what I feel? Violated. Then I did what I probably should have done the moment I saw them unpacking a diaper genie. I called the locksmith. Tyler smiled for the first time all day. The locksmith's name was Angie. She showed up in a rusted van with a dachshund in the passenger seat and a drill that sounded like it could cut through a vault. Emergency rekey? She asked, glancing between me, Tyler, and my brother's SUV in the driveway. More like an exorcism, I said. Angie grinned. My favorite kind. While she got to work, I walked back inside, where Chris was still arguing with Tyler about bloodlines and shared history. Tyler, God bless him, had switched to his deadliest mode. Pleasant sarcasm. Of course, take the dining room too, he said. We only eat there when we're not morally corrupting society with our gay cohabitation. Maddie was now filming something on her phone, either for Instagram or to send to my dad. I walked past her and unplugged the router. You can film all you want, I said, but you're leaving. Tonight. Chris scoffed. You can't kick out a pregnant woman. You're right, I said, but I can evict trespassers. I held up a printed copy of our mortgage, with mine and Tyler's names bold at the top and a bright yellow post-it that said, Not yours. Chris laughed, but it wasn't funny. It was panicked. You're really going to turn your back on family? He asked. We're blood, Nolan. We grew up in the same room. And now we're adults, I said. I pay for this roof. I pay the taxes. You want a house? Start saving. That's when Maddie muttered, This is why your dad says you're selfish. Tyler, who had been restraining himself like a monk on a cleanse, stepped forward. My partner, he said, has spent the last decade helping your boyfriend stay out of jail, out of debt, and out of every situation he can't handle because accountability makes his skin itch. And now you're calling him selfish? She blinked. You weren't there when Nolan gave up his bonus to pay for your first apartment, he continued. You weren't there when he sold his car to help Chris after the accident. You weren't there when he cried in the parking lot because your dad said our relationship made his grandchild unsafe. Now she looked uncomfortable, like maybe she'd walked into the wrong battle. I looked at Chris. You don't get to call me selfish after stealing from me. He stepped forward like he was going to argue again, but Angie's drill shrieked in the hallway. He turned and saw her replacing the deadbolt. What the hell is that? He asked. She's here to make sure you can't just stroll in next time, I said. You've got 2 hours. After that, the door won't recognize you. Chris's jaw worked, but no sound came out. Maddie picked up her phone. The camera was off now. Outside, Angie waved. New keys are ready. Tyler opened the door for them. You don't have to slam it, he said, but we'd prefer if you did. They left, boxes and all. No thank you, no apology, just a long, angry stare like I'd just broken some ancient family code. They peeled out of the driveway like a couple in a made-for-TV movie about betrayal. I locked the door. Tyler exhaled. Then the phone rang. It was my father. I let it ring twice before picking up. Dad, I said, already bracing for the fireworks. What did you do? He snapped. No hello, no how's work, no acknowledgement that he just sicked a couple of squatters on his own son. I reclaimed my house, I said, and replaced the locks you apparently gave away without asking. You embarrassed your brother, he spat. I laughed, but it wasn't funny. He broke into my home with a box of diapers and 0 rent money. I'd say he embarrassed himself. There was a long pause. Then he did the thing he always does when backed into a corner. He pulled out the martyr card. You think your life is so perfect, he said. But it's built on sin. You and your arrangement. No church, no vows, no children. That's not a family. Ah, there it was. Say it clearly, I said. You're punishing me for being gay. I'm not punishing you, he said, voice getting tighter. I'm asking you to do what's right. Step aside. Let your brother raise a family in a proper home. In my home, I corrected. That I bought. That I maintain. That I pay for every month without a single cent from you. You think money makes you better? He hissed. No, I said. But it does pay the mortgage, which is apparently too complicated for your golden child to understand. He went quiet. I could hear a lawnmower in the background. Birds. Probably a neighbor out trimming hedges while my family imploded over a house like it was a castle in a feudal drama. You're cold, he finally said. You've changed. No, I said. I just stopped mistaking guilt for love. I hung up. Tyler was sitting on the couch when I came back into the living room. He looked at me like I'd just walked out of a burning building. Is it bad? He asked. It's war, I said. And I think I just won the first battle. That night, my brother posted a vague Facebook status. Funny how some people care more about their granite countertops than actual family. Must be nice to be so selfish. The comments poured in. Extended relatives, high school acquaintances, people I hadn't seen in 10 years. Family is family. You'll get through this, Chris. Your brother sounds like a narcissist. I didn't reply. I didn't post a rebuttal. Instead, I forwarded a copy of the trespassing incident to our family attorney, just in case. Tyler printed a sign that said, "Welcome to our home," and taped it to the new keypad lock. It was petty. It was perfect. Then came the next blow. A letter from my father's attorney, requesting mediation.
Apparently, they were serious.
They wanted to force a property transfer agreement based on moral grounds. Tyler read it and said, "This sounds like the dumbest lawsuit Hallmark never made." But I didn't laugh, because now it was legal, and I'd have to show up in court to prove I deserved to keep the house I already owned. I sat across from a lawyer named Evelyn Price, who wore cheetah print reading glasses and had a jawline that could slice concrete. She read the letter once, sipped her tea, then said, "This might be the stupidest thing I've seen all year, and I've got a client trying to sue a birdwatching club for emotional distress." The letter was absurd. My father, under the guise of family reconciliation, was petitioning for a mediated property transfer, arguing that I owed it to the next generation to surrender my house. They even tried to claim emotional squatting rights. Not a real thing, by the way. "They're banking on embarrassment," Evelyn said. "They think if they throw enough Catholic guilt and community noise at you, you'll cave." I nodded. "They're not entirely wrong. That strategy worked for 30 years. "Yeah, well, not anymore." She flipped to the next page. They attached screenshots of Facebook posts of your anti-family behavior. Tyler leaned over her desk, squinting. "That's a photo of our Halloween decorations. Are the pumpkins gay now?" I barked out a laugh, the first in days. Evelyn continued. "Here's the deal. They have zero legal grounds. You're the sole owner. There's no shared deed, no contract, no tenancy agreement. What they're doing is harassment dressed up in nostalgia." That night, I sat on the deck with Tyler, a bottle of wine between us, the dog curled up by our feet. We didn't talk much, just watched the lights blink on in the neighbors' windows, one by one. "This whole thing," I said quietly, "feels like I'm being punished for being happy." Tyler didn't answer right away. He just looked at me, like he was memorizing something. "They don't hate that you're gay," he finally said. "They hate that you didn't need their approval." I let that sit, because damn if it didn't feel true. The next morning, my father called again. I let it go to voicemail. Same script, new twist. "Your mother's upset. She says you've lost your way, that we raised you better than this. Your brother's trying, Nolan. He needs support, not rejection. You don't have to live this selfish life. You can come back." Come back? To what? To Sunday dinners where I couldn't mention Tyler? To weddings where we were seated at the miscellaneous table? To phone calls that only came when something needed fixing? No thanks. That afternoon, Evelyn filed a cease and desist. One official letter, 2 paragraphs. Sharp, boring, legal. We dropped a copy in the mailbox. 3 hours later, Chris sent a text. "You'd really rather see your own niece born into poverty than share a stupid house?" I typed and deleted 5 responses before finally replying. "She deserves to be born into a world with healthy boundaries. Start there." He didn't text back. That night, Mom called. She left a voicemail too. No anger this time, just quiet, watery guilt. "I just want my boys to love each other again. I want peace, Nolan. Is that too much to ask?" It was, because peace in our family always meant I shut up, paid up, and pretended it didn't hurt. But not anymore, because peace without honesty is just silence, and I was finally done being quiet. The mediation was scheduled for a Tuesday, but I canceled it on Monday. Evelyn advised it, and I agreed. "You don't negotiate ownership of something already yours," she said. "You don't enter a courtroom just to legitimize their fantasy." Instead, I sent a letter through her office. A legal, notarized response. 3 pages of calm, measured truth. It spelled out the facts. The house was mine, acquired without help from my parents or brother. Any further attempts to claim it, legally or otherwise, would be treated as harassment. We included a clause requesting no further communication unless initiated through a legal representative. It was the most peaceful letter I've ever sent. They received it. I know because the next morning, my brother texted me a single word. Wow. And then silence. No flaming Facebook posts this time. No middle-of-the-night phone calls. Just digital stillness. That's how I knew it was real. The war wasn't over, but they'd finally run out of ammo. 2 weeks later, a package showed up on our porch. Handwritten label. No return address. I brought it inside like it might hiss. Tyler raised an eyebrow. Should I get the tongs? I opened it. Inside was a crocheted baby blanket in pastel yellow and a folded note in my mom's cursive. For the baby. Not a peace offering, just a blanket. Love, Mom. I read it twice, then set it aside. Because I didn't need it to be a peace offering. I didn't need a parade or a confession. I just needed space. Silence. The kind of love that doesn't come with conditions. Tyler hung the blanket over a chair. Should we mail it back? I shook my head. No, let's keep it. Maybe someday, when Chris grows up, when they get it. He nodded. We'll have it waiting. In the meantime, life returned to its natural rhythm. Tyler taught music lessons in the den. I redesigned 2 municipal buildings for a contract I actually cared about. On weekends, we worked on the garden out back, finally planting those damn tomato vines we'd been talking about for 3 years. And then, one morning, I woke to a text from a number I didn't recognize. It's Maddie. I'm sorry for everything. Chris told me to block you, but I didn't. He's not handling this well. I just wanted to say thank you for the crib and the space. It was short, honest, free of sarcasm. I stared at it for a long time. Then I typed back, "Congratulations on your baby. I hope she grows up knowing what respect looks like. You're not alone." She didn't respond. But she didn't block me either. And that I took as a small miracle. Months passed. The noise stayed down. My parents didn't call. Chris moved in with one of his friends, from what I heard through the cousin grapevine. The baby was born, a girl named Leah. I didn't get a photo. I didn't expect one. But I thought about her sometimes. About how she might grow up with the same stories told again and again. About how family means obligation and silence and giving until you disappear. Or maybe, if we're lucky, she won't. Maybe someone will teach her boundaries.
Maybe someone will teach her that being related doesn't give someone the right to take what's not theirs. One rainy Sunday, I came home to find Tyler in the kitchen, humming under his breath and making something that smelled like cinnamon and catharsis. "What's the occasion?" I asked. He shrugged. "Thought you deserved comfort food. Also, you're officially 6 months harassment-free." I laughed. "Do we celebrate that now?" "We do in this house." Later that night, we sat on the couch, just us and the rain, our dog asleep between us, a blanket that wasn't trying to mean anything. We watched a documentary neither of us finished, drank tea that went cold, and let the quiet wrap around us like a gift. It wasn't a palace. It wasn't a mansion. It wasn't even especially tidy. But it was ours. A 4-bedroom house that stayed exactly where it belonged. And a man who finally understood that home isn't something you earn by shrinking. It's something you build when you stop apologizing for the space you take up.